bring you the Creatis program, which is a series of talks and webinars for the creative industry in a nutshell. Today we are joined by Kayla Connolly, a veteran public speaker with over 15 years of experience in public speaking. She is a member of the Professional Speakers Association, Toastmasters International, and an listed speaker with the Women's Institute. So thank you very much for joining us today, Kayla, and thank you participants for joining us. It is currently 5:10 and we will be finishing at 6 p.m. today. Without further ado, I will stop sharing my screen and I will allow you to take over.
Lovely. So before I get into my presentation, I'd like to, firstly, thank you for joining me. And Heather, it's lovely meeting you. And thank you for your warm introduction. Now, anyone will tell you how I work with people. It's always very practical. So just put your questions in from now, and then I'll kick off everything that you need to know about remote pitching. Now, what we need to realize about COVID and everything that we're doing now is, if this happens 20 years ago, there's no way I could be looking at Heather like this online, and we wouldn't have the opportunity. But now I tell you, you can do as much as you can with a smartphone and a laptop. You can go places, you can reach, your reach is much further. So do not limit yourself in any way. So I'm going to kick this off by sharing with you how to pitch your business online. Now, I have been fortunate to work with the University of Essex since 2017, 2018, and I've seen students pitch, and I'm gonna miss that this time round, because I remember students turning up the first time and they look really scruffy and they look like students. And last year, October, when I went to the university, they were nicely dressed, looked far better than me. So that's the whole thing. When you pitch your business or you're presenting online, it's about you showing up authentically and in the best way you possibly can. So we're going to look at the basics to presenting online. Effective ways, I say, to go live, but it doesn't mean, well, it will only apply if you're sending a video ahead of time. And we'll look at how to handle interruptions and how to close your pitch. So you have been really, really good by telling me or sharing with me and Heather what you want to get out of today, because I've seen these questions answered in the chat box. And Heather has really nicely introduced me, and she has covered a lot. I hold a degree in finance and an MBA in business, and I've worked with clients in IT, finance, coaching, marketing. I've worked with lots of entrepreneurs and executives, and I have a teenage daughter, and I love cycling and gardening. So that's the little you'll know about me. Now, the basics to presenting, to pitching online, you have to know your audience, have a good understanding of the idea you have and who you're pitching it to. You have to learn how to record and rehearse your script. There's no getting away from it, and controlling nerves is something. And what I call venue or room preparation, I'll share with you later how I prepare my room, why I'm using a lighting at this time. I have a white light over my head and I have another light. So I'll share these with you so you'll get the best out of this. But if you're pitching your business remotely, what are the needs and concerns of your investors? Every investor will think, is this worth my time? Am I adding value here? Is this person someone I can invest in? All these questions are going through investors' mind. And if I put my money in it, will it go down the drain, or is it a viable business? So understand their expectations. Now, when it comes to pitching, you can scribble this on some paper. Always remember the 5 P's of pitching. The first thing is preparation. The next thing you need is practice. You need some passion in it as well. You need to be persuasive, and you need to practice. All these 5 P's will come into play when you pitch your idea. Right. Now, can we see a show of hands? People, can you share in the chat box how often you use your voice recorder? Share that in your chat. Is it every day? Have a look and see what they're saying for me, Heather.
No problem.
Do you use your voice recorder pretty often?
We've got rarely, never.
Oh my gosh.
I'm guilty of it too, to be fair.
Well, after today, your voice recorder will be your best friend. And I've spoken to clients who said, I never like listening to my voice. So today, remember, your voice is your USB. If Heather delivers a pitch tomorrow and I deliver the same pitch, it will come about differently because it's unique to us. So honor your voice and love it as of today. Now, make sure you listen to your recording and make the necessary adjustments. What I like about a voice recorder, if you're pitching for 5 minutes and you pop it in your recorder, you know if you're over time. So it really helps you to keep the practice session to the allotted time, and you can practice your gestures and your eye contact before you pitch your idea. Now, do you think it's important to use gestures now that we're in front of a screen?
I would have thought so, because I mean, body language is still body language.
Yes, yes. We still need to smile, we still need to nod. Yes, so gestures are just as important. Now, someone mentioned, could you tell me who mentioned something about being very nervous? Was it Holly?
I'm just scrolling through the chat, bear with me a second.
Someone spoke about being very nervous. I don't know if their
It
name.
was Holly, it was, well remembered.
Okay. So yes, it looks like my memory is working today, Holly. What I'll suggest to you, Holly, and anyone who suffers from nerves, it's understanding a process called box breathing. It's very good. Taking in a deep breath before you whether go and deliver this pitch, or if it's a live video, or even if it's a Zoom recording you're doing, it's good to inhale, take in some air, make sure it goes right under your diaphragm, and you hold it on the count of 4, and then you release. So I want you all to practice this for later. It's such a pity I'm not in a room with you, but that's how it is. Yeah. So the more air you take in, when the heart starts to beat and you get so nervous, you realize everything will slow down, even your sweaty palms. So have a routine, have something that you do before you speak, because it will help you to anchor the nervousness, and whoever you are, that real person, that authentic person will come through as a result. Now, has anyone ever practiced positive visualization? It's a good thing to do. Even though we have all the technology we need to go live, and we have our makeup, we have our clothes, we have our microphone, sometimes we rush around too much. Well, that's the reason Heather didn't get me earlier today. It's the rushing around. But if you can find the time to sit down calmly for 5 minutes and go through, just relax your mind, take your mind off everything, and then you get ready for that pitch. It's a good thing to do. Now, I've spoken about venue preparation, or what I call the room preparation. And it's very important to clear clutter from your workspace. One of the things I do, I open the window and let in fresh air. I hoover it. I make sure that the only the things I really need are on the desk or on the desk with me. And it's very important. I'm going to just show you briefly. I'm short, so I'm sitting on a cushion. Yeah. I never do without my cushion because it means you're just at the right level. You look cozy. Enough of my torso is showing, or shoulder. I'm not hiding like this. So it gives you a good balance, and I'm comfortable. Sitting on the chair without the cushion, it's not that comfortable. So make sure you've worked it out. Make sure that the height of your laptop is the right height, or you can get a little box to prop it up. On the day that you present as well, it's okay if you want to stand. You can get something, you could just get, I'll show you a little box. Rest your computer or your laptop on just a box that you get from Staples so you can stand. Practice all of these things beforehand and make sure you have nothing in the background, because a busy background is distracting to viewers, but it's also saying to the investors, how prepared is this person? Are you an overthinker? Do you have too much clutter going through your mind, or are you serious about the business that you're putting forward? So be sure to have a look around your environment. For me, fresh air is everything. So make sure you really energize where you stay or where you'll pitch from. One thing you can do to really, sometimes in the evenings, we feel a little bit tired or run down. If you're going to pitch your idea in the evening, make sure your blood sugar level is really up. And an easy thing to do is have some oats. Just some oats with apple and a little cinnamon. You can have that because oats releases sugar into the bloodstream really slowly. So it means you're not online and you're not presenting, but you're looking sluggish. If the room looks good, you've exercised, you put your face on and everything looks good, and you still don't feel good, just clap. Yeah, clap. Give yourself like 10 claps. And that should energize you. All of that should energize you. Right, so we're going to look briefly at lighting. Now, I'm a Black woman and I need lots of light on my skin. So if you look at my videos on LinkedIn or Facebook, I tend to go outside. So I always have to be mindful. Where I'm sitting right now, there's a window to the right. The further I go into this room, it just gets darker. So it's always important you can get a white light for your room, if that helps, or you can get a studio lamp. I'll show you. It's on one of the slides anyway, but this is the brand. I'll show it to you later. Get a studio light. I'll show you what happens when I turn off my light. See, you can't see this side of my face. So it's good to have proper lighting when you're pitching your business. So be practical. You can put the light directly over the laptop or to the side, just balance it. Because if ever you position your laptop with light behind you, it looks like you're far away in a cave. When you pitch your business remotely, online, everything needs to come together. You can have a very good script, you can have a good business idea, but when you show up online, someone is thinking something is missing. Don't leave that to chance. So these are you can have a studio light, you can have this Relenos LED light. It's very good, it's rechargeable, or you can have the selfie ring light. This is what it looks like. Really, it's good to use if you're doing a Facebook Live and it's dark, but my skin type, I need so much more light. So if you can invest in a tripod, it won't hurt. It won't hurt. Everything will be there. to support you. Right. So we are moving a little bit on clothing. Yes, maybe the girls like this, maybe the guys not so much. Could you put in the chat box, everyone does, what are your views on clothing? What I've noticed, some colors look far better online than others. And this is something you have to test for yourself. I have a few image consultants who I network with. And from what they're saying now, the two of the colors not to wear online, two colors are red and white. I'm wearing orange, Heather. Does it look like orange?
Ready orange.
Ready orange. Okay, that's a ready orange. But I wear this because the bolder the color is, the more you stand out. If I were wearing something white, it would just look so washed out. But if you wear a bold color, and green isn't one of the best colors to wear either, so stay away from the reds, the whites, and to a point, if you wear black, make sure the background is light, and you really test that first because it can be too heavy. Now, the other thing to remember is never to have earrings that dangle and make a lot of noise or bracelets that are noisy, because even if you edit a video, you can't get that out. So it's good to think about your clothing beforehand. Make sure it's comfortable. Make sure you like the colors that you're wearing. And really, as we all know, it's just the top you have to worry about. So yeah. Right, let's see where we're at. Right, so not there. Now, so we'll look at effective ways in which you can open your pitch. You can open your pitch with a quote. You can use statistics. You can use a question, or you can use a surprise, which that will come in the form of a prop. Now, if you use a quote to open your pitch, you need to make sure that you're referencing the thought of an expert on your topic, and it will allow you to impart wisdom to your audience or to the investors that you would like to invest in you. So make sure it is relevant to the business or the idea or the service that you want them to invest in. The next thing, you can always ask a question. It's a good thing to do because people think at all times. People will think when you ask them a question. And the next thing, you can surprise them. You could take something, of course, it might be 5 minutes, but you could still wrap something in a little paper, open it, and that's your product or service. We like things that are different. We like when somebody does something a different way. So make sure you're creative with the way you present, how you show up, and what you're doing. So let's see what else I have here. Now, I talk about the power spot, and I speak about that a lot when I work with clients. And I left this on the slide because a power spot is a place in a room where you have the most power. It's that place where when you stand there, the light from the window shines on you, and that's the place to be. Now, I will be honest with you, since lockdown, it took me a while to find my so-called power spot. Where my banner is, that's where I used to sit, but it was too far, too dark, and I have a beautiful wallpaper on this side, but again, it can come across as too distracting. So this has now become my power spot. This is the best place for me to present. So you can get something and put your laptop on it if you need to pitch your business. If you need to stand up, it's the same thing you do. You greet your audience, you greet the investors, and you share with them the passion about your work and do something to grab their attention. Right, so it's 27 past. I am aware. So I'm getting there. So just in concluding, how to close your pitch, you close your pitch with impact and a strong call to action. That's how you close your pitch. So if you look at it, you prepare, you grab the attention of the investor, you can give them a summary of what's going on, and you use facts, not generalities, and you come up with a good call to action, and then that leads you to your Q&A. So I am now inviting you, Heather, to, yes, let's move on with the Q&A.
Okay, so we do have a question. Someone would like to know, they have an issue with blushing when they speak publicly. It happens and it makes them quite nervous. So they want to know basically, should they ignore that they're going red? Should they address it / make a joke of it? How would you kind of suggest that they tackle this?
My view is it's not good to make a joke of it. It's not. Could you ask her where she blushes, if it's the throat area or on her face?
Sure. Just waiting for a response.
Yes, okay. All right, I'll just cover that because I've seen that happen. Now, if we talk, whenever we have to present an idea, this is the throat or the throat chakra. It comes under pressure. It comes under pressure because we're thinking, am I good enough? Is someone judging me? Oh my God, they must think I'm so stupid. So that's why this area is highlighted. It's saying, hey, but you know what, Rebecca? It's really okay. If, depending on the weather, what you could do, maybe you could wear something with a collar or a tiny scarf, a thin scarf, to just cover that, and the rest makeup. If it gets in the way and it does other things to you, which is something really deep and emotional that you find really challenging, then my view is, if you're going to do lots of speaking going forward and you want to work through this, then it would be worthwhile seeing a hypnotherapist or someone who could give you some more practical help. But from experience, I think if you keep showing up and keep doing it more and more, it will go away eventually. But I've seen this with lots of people. So get your little scarf out to start with, or a shirt with a collar, and go off with it. Don't apologize for blushing or saying, "Oh, I know I'm going red in the face." People look at that like, you're on. That's showing up as being uncertain. It's worried about judgment. Remember, people buy confidence, and that's what you are. Yeah. Any other question, Heather?
I'll just give them a second to type.
Okay.
Yeah, my first year of uni, I suffered with blushing in pitches. Perseverance, and I got through it.
Yes. Sometimes you have an issue where if you push through it, it's like running, exercising, anything. One day the joints don't hurt as much and you really look forward to it. But coming back to it, if you really write that script, you believe in it, and you go, you know what, I'm going to give it 100%. You will get through that. Now, just to bring you back, Heather, to when we started out, I mentioned how important is body language when you're on a webcam. It's still very important, Chris. The more relaxed you are, people still see that coming through. You can still use your gestures. You don't have to be all robotic. So it's still important to use your body language. If you've been given the opportunity to stand and pitch an idea, it's amazing. You still use that body language. You could still talk about to the right, to the left. No one will say, oh my God, another one. We still want to see people looking at us, smiling, engaging. We still want to have that. So body language is still important.
Someone's asked, how do they get over the tendency to say or oh when they're presenting to someone?
Yes, yes. And that's almost like a habit that every time you do it, you just want to kick yourself.
Absolutely.
But I tell you, who was that person? If we can't find their name, it's okay.
It's anonymous.
Okay, that's fine. The easiest way to get beyond that is one, practice. The thing with public speaking, part of it or pitching an idea is really writing everything down before. If you write it down, there's a lesser chance of umming or eyeing because you know the words that's coming next. You're not looking up and thinking, what should I say? But part of this goes back to us feeling nervous. So if you practice, the more you practice, the more you write that script down, you pop it in the voice recorder, give it time. I say to clients, practice it even 7 times. You can practice it upon rising, practice it again lunchtime, practicing mid-afternoon. And before you know it, you're remembering these words, you're saying it with more conviction, there's passion in your voice, you're relaxing, and the ums and ahs will go away. So forgive yourself for that to start with and practice. But if you try and do your breathing exercise as well, that will help you to anchor it. What does Becky say here?
Always finds it really helpful to write a script for herself whenever she has to make a phone call. Otherwise, she gets flustered and forgets her words. I do the same.
Okay, so that's good. Good.
So we've got,
Yes, it's a good practice to script whatever you're doing, Becky, especially if sometimes it's a difficult conversation, isn't it? And you're thinking, but I don't want to stray, I want to stay on track. So
yeah.
it's a good thing to have.
Yeah, and it sort of avoids the ambiguity of silence, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that awkwardness. Awkwardness. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a question that's I've just done it myself. Eye contact is so difficult via a digital setup. Do you
That's
have any
true.
specific advice on this?
That is true. I've seen something recently that if you're on a Zoom call with many people, there's a button you can press and bring your little box all the way down to the right hand side. I don't know my right from my left. So you can pull it down. So when you look, it's not like you're looking down on them. It's just that it's right in front of you. But it's something we have to all be mindful of. And sometimes I'm looking up here and I feel like I'm looking at the door and I should be looking at Heather. But when it comes to showing up online, there are some things you have to forgive yourself for. Don't be all, oh my gosh, I need to do this, I need to do that. Once you prepare your script, you get yourself sorted, you really energize the room and you put the fresh air in it and your lighting is right, you'll just see yourself shining and showing up boldly. Yeah.
Okay, another one for you. If my English isn't fluent, but I have a good idea in my mind, how do I speak more confidently without too many pauses or stammers?
Okay. What I'll say to you, it depends. If you've been asked to speak somewhere and your English isn't fluent, always ask them, how long do you need me to speak? And what do you want me to speak about? I'm going to say this because I'm from the Caribbean and our local language is Patois. So if I see Heather in Jamaica, my homeland, I wouldn't say, hi, Heather. I'd say, what, Heather? What a go on, Heather? And I cannot say that to a British audience unless it's some comedy night, and I'm not a comedian. So every time I'm saying this because I too feel like I have a dialect going through my head. And just before this call, my mom, now she can use WhatsApp. She called me, and it's all patois. So the best thing you can do to be more effective, if it's English you should speak, stay with that and script it. Really script it because you can go back to it. You can use it as your go-to speech. If someone say, you know what, I'd like you to present an idea to us, you can look back and think, yeah, I scripted it and this was what worked. So always find time to script. I know some of us don't like to, but I'll tell you, every speech I do, I script it. Yeah, I'm a geek when it comes to scripting. I never leave that out. Anything
On the
else,
subject,
Heather?
on the subject of scripts, someone's asked, how do you tend to structure a script for yourself? I tend to get flustered when off script very easily.
Okay. It always comes back to the beginning, the middle, and the end. So that's the basic skeleton for your script. You always have to go back to the time. Is it 5 minutes I'm speaking for, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes? And then you have your beginning, and the beginning should give your audience a quick summary of why you're in front of them. And when you move beyond that, you can link it now with a story or an example. And that's another bridge. And then you move. So first thing you think about, okay, Heather has asked me to speak for 10 minutes. What's my beginning? What's my middle? And what's my end? First thing. Secondly, what does she want me to cover during the presentation? Is it pitching a business online remotely? And then you look at ways in which you pitch a business online remotely. And you look at all the subtopics within that. And that's how it gets wider and wider. And then you bring it to a close by summarizing everything at the end and moving into your Q&A. I know this isn't enough time, but always remember beginning, middle, and end. It's the same thing if you're pitching your idea to investors or pitching your business. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so is charisma important in public speaking? And if so, are there ways you can develop it, or is it inherent?
I don't think it's inherent. And I'll say this, it is important. Charisma is important in all that we do. But the more you honor who you are, that's how you get there. You get there. And I thank you. Who was that who asked that lovely question?
Unfortunately, it was anonymous, so I
It's
can't give credit.
anonymous, that's fine. But I'm just saying, I was born a very shy little girl. And whatever, when people talk about charisma or whatever is going on, I didn't want to know. But the more you honor who you are, I don't show up anywhere to be perfect, but I show up to share a message with passion. And once you start get that of the 5 P's in, you prepare. So important. The audience will always know you prepare. They look at purpose. How do you show up? Are you interested in this product or this service? When you speak, do you light up the room? Yes, that's how it comes through. And how persuasive are you about the whole thing that you're putting to them? And people can tell that. And the minute you start moving through those 5 P's, charisma comes, because they say, you know what? She's not a fake. We can see. I just saw something from a filmmaker, but it disappeared.
Yeah, someone was posting their LinkedIn account.
Oh, fantastic. And as I say, do connect with me. Now, I remember, Heather, when we started out, I said they should put in the chat box what they'd like to get out of this session.
Yes.
I'm wondering how we're doing and if we have been covering their questions nicely.
Yeah, a lot of the questions were to do with confidence and that nature of thing. We had one to do with dealing with imposter syndrome, which is always a dilemma, isn't it?
Yes, and it's imposter syndrome is how much do you believe? Is how much do you believe in what you're doing? That's where it comes from. And how much knowledge do you have about the subject? All of that. It's the more you can control the doubts, or not control them, deal with them. The
Yeah.
more you can deal with them, the better you will move beyond that, because you'll be honest, and what you don't know, you'll find out. And if you do have the answer, you say, yeah, I have the answer. I just saw something from Chris asking if something about standing or sitting when using a webcam.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned, Chris, it's okay to stand if you want to stand. And again, it depends on the nature of why you're standing. If it's a 5-minute pitch you're doing for a business, it's okay to stand. Just as I say, get your little magic box from Staples. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. Pop your laptop on it and you stand up and you do your pitch. I did storytelling since lockdown for the Rotary, and it was about summertime at Granny's house. I stood up because they were all sitting down and they wanted something energized. They wanted something energetic. It's not what I do all the time, but I thought, right, I'll be more of me. I'll give them a little bit more if I'm talking about home, talking about the Caribbean, talking about what Granny's house was like. So just weigh that in your mind. If you feel more energized while standing, go ahead and do it. To stand for 40 minutes, it might be too much. It might be too much. And if you're going to make it and sit, then you could maybe put a holding slide there while you swap things around. But the most important thing is understanding the energy of the room. Is it early morning? Do they want to feel alive? Then do that. If it's late lunch and everyone is settling down and that's what you feel, then sit down and be like that. Yes, but either way, there should be no problem, Chris, and you could even practice. That's what lockdown has done. You can do lots, take lots of time and practice which colors work best. If you turn it to the window, is it better? Which part of the room works best? You can do all of that in lockdown. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have a question. I don't have a single blank wall in my entire home to use as a backdrop. Bookshelves and art everywhere. Do you suggest using a screen or something similar behind me?
Everyone is using bookshelves now, isn't it? It's people are even using the Zoom ones that they're not even, yeah. So there's absolutely no problem with that. And this is a blank wall. You know what British homes are like. So this is a chimney breast that's there. And I then decided to put my roller banner in here. So you can just test different areas, have a look and see. I guess the important thing is to make sure that you have a desk that that when you set up your laptop, it's facing that. But by all means, if it's only books, don't worry, because everyone has books behind them now. People are even looking in to see which books. It's the talk. So I'm a bit jealous I don't have books at the moment, because I would like to. Yes.
Okay, so another question. What is more important, content or your delivery of the content?
My view is if you're working at the top of your game, you need to bring the two together. Because if you deliver something and your heart isn't in it, people will just zone out. No one will listen. And they'll think, well, she sounds like a bright kid, but I'm not feeling the love for this product. If I run with you and I invest in this, can you take it further? Remember, when we share an idea with people, people buy into it because they see how excited you are about it, and that energy works. So what I always say, marry your content with your delivery. If you show up the right way, but you have some magnetic words and what you say is just full of energy and just that good vibe and passion, people think, wow, I need to see what Heather's product is all about because I can't sleep tonight. So yes, remember that. Everybody asks content over, put the two together and that makes you more memorable.
Yeah, I found that in my limited experience. I used to have these awful PowerPoints that were just walls of text. So my delivery was okay, but my content was not, it was not good. And it
Yes.
wasn't until I started iterating the PowerPoints and just really trimming them down that things improved and people started engaging with my PowerPoints.
And we all struggle with that. Even before I came on, I said to the VA I work with, I said, I'm not sure. Do I have enough? Do I have enough? Oh, when I practiced it and this one looked way too short, it didn't hit half an hour. Oh, I should go back. And we all weighed up. We all weighed up because we wanted to land the half an hour. But the more you start moving and you give yourself to it, your words will expand, your ideas will flow, people will get that message. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? You don't trust that you're going to remember all the things that you want to talk about. So then you put it all on the slide. But then the problem is people can read the slides 10 times faster than you can say it.
Yes, but I'll tell you what has happened to me, Heather. I'm not a slides person, and I never put slides together.
So I respect that. I could not do that.
It's because I find it so hard. If you give me a slide or a set of slides to put together, I would be in this room from 8 o'clock till 4 and it's still not done, because sometimes our creativity can't flow with certain things and we're all different. So lockdown has pushed me now to get slides in order, and I have to ask for the help of a VA to put them together, because everything I would just walk into a room and I get people to do some nice things. And I love it. I love it. But now I realize everything is virtual and I have to find another way. So from my experience, just go easy on yourself. If the slides aren't right, don't beat yourself up. You know, just keep going. Promise yourself that the next set will get better. And we're all walking differently now because, yeah, we have to learn. We have to change who we are. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, lockdown's taught us all a lot about ourselves.
It has kicked us into shape. There's one thing I didn't mention about your Zoom settings. I'm just going to go through it because it's pretty quick. When you go into where you have the video on Zoom and you go into video settings, one of the things you could do is tick the box that says Enable HD. So it will, you'll just show up much better. And another box is there that's called Touch Up My Appearance. I don't know if it's working for me, Heather.
I think you look fabulous. Don't worry about it.
But those two will really help you. It will show up whatever color you're wearing. It will make it more vibrant, your complexion, everything. So just remember to make sure those boxes are checked. Touch Up My Appearance and Enable HD. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good idea. Okay, so we have a question. What is your opinion on thought leadership?
It's good. Thought leadership is really giving your idea about a situation, a subject, sharing an opinion. And I've looked at it many times. I've looked at the work of Simon Sinek, and it's not if he's right or he's wrong. He's coming forth and saying, you know what? This is my take on this situation. And my view is we live in a world where we can share our ideas. So I always say I've said it to clients, I've said it to people who I meet, don't hide your light under a bushel. If this is something you believe in, share it with others. You can tie it into your studies, the work you do, or the product you sell. So yes, I love the idea of thought leadership. I do. And I do hope the participants on this call are thought leaders, because we need people who think independently. That's the new world. This is where I see the what's it? Is it Gen Z? I've lost
Something like that. I don't know.
it really. Yes. this is a new era where we have technology and we have so many other things going on. So thought leadership does have its place, and I really hope the participants on here will be tomorrow's thought leaders. Yeah. Can you recommend any exercises for being better at improvised speaking? The best exercise, Chris, is to get up and do it.
That seems to be the theme with public speaking, doesn't it?
Yes, it's getting up and doing it. No, one of the things I didn't mention to you guys on this call, I got into public speaking because I was a shy little girl and I turned up at the Catholic Church in Jamaica, and the priest asked me to do the reading. I ended up doing the reading because my older sister said no, and I was too afraid to say no. So yes, it's about your comfort zone. So all of you here, you have businesses or you're thinking of running a business, you can start a business page on Facebook and you can go live by one, introducing yourself and your business to people all over the world. Yeah, that's the opportunity. And if you keep going in every day, you will get better. You will get better. And one day you'll have a bit of paper that looks like this, but you can talk for an hour. Yes, so it comes with practice. But the other aspect of public speaking is tuning into your audience, catching their attention quickly, and creating better stories. Yes. So before you all leave this evening, I know that this is about pitching, but sometimes a good story can be embedded into a pitch. And the best stories that work, there could be one on leadership, or you picked up your bag and you marched up and you said, right, I'm going to change the way we think. I'm going to come up with a new idea. I'm going to come up with a new product. That's leadership. Another story is one on transition. This is what happened to me. And I said, no more. I'm coming up with this product to help people who need better inhalers or people who get tired after a 5K jog, whatever it is. That's a transition when you move from one to the other. And another story that works is always one that's triumph over tragedy. Yes, so part of the whole thing of pitching is telling a good story. That putting that in a pitch, it does embellish it. Yeah.
Kind of makes sense though, because the most viewed TED Talks on YouTube and such, they all start with a personal story about something they've been through and then they've overcome it, and then the talk is about their journey doing it or the outcome.
Yeah, yeah, and people love stories. No matter what happens, this is something embedded in the psyche even before we were born. You have a child and you say, I remember the day you came from the hospital. They're like this. I remember your first Christmas, and they can go back to that time, whether it was pleasant or unpleasant for them. So yes, learning to tell stories, which is sometimes what I'm called on. Sometimes I have clients with very good speeches, very good structure. It's all there, but they call and said, Kayla, I need you to work with me on the story. So yeah.
Well, I can understand why people find that difficult, because it's difficult to be vulnerable in that way with strangers.
Yes, it's true. Most stories lead to that. One of the things I do, I look at from a deeper perspective, is the issue healed or not? Some stories are too raw, and if you haven't dealt with that, you can't retell it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. If you're, whether you're the king or the queen on stage telling the story, you need to straighten your crown and say, you know what, I was here, but now I'm here. But if it leads to tears and everybody's all over the place, then it's not the story to tell. You're not ready for that yet. So it's important to have the right story for the right talk, for the right place.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. If, my student years, I love them. and I can share that with students. It's relevant. It makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, saying that to executives, maybe, maybe not. So, so as of today as well, you could even create a story file.
Mm.
Yes, times in your life when I traveled to London for the first time, first year at uni. That's about change and transition. Can't just call your mom. You run out of money. Life on dorm isn't too great. And there's so much you can talk about there. But yes, it's good to have an impactful story to share. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. Are there any final quick fire questions as we are nearing the end? I'll just give you a second. I have
Oh,
posted a link in the webinar chat. I will post it again. It is a feedback form, and we would really appreciate it if you could fill it in for us. So get your feedback, and if there's anything we can improve, then we know what to improve for next time. All that good stuff.
oh, thank you, Sarah Hayes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Is it Lois? Lois Cardelia. And thank you so much. You have been so generous. And Heather, it's been a pleasure. This is my first webinar.
Is it really? It's not
Yes.
seem possible. You're so confident and
Oh, darling, it's not. I just show up real.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
Yes, but if you're on LinkedIn, Heather, do connect with me as well.
I will
And
do.
just
Thank you
find
very much.
out from everyone if all their questions are answered. If not, they can reach me on, oh, it was honestly a very good, thank you, Richard Lowe, very kind of you. Thank you so much. Very kind of you all. Yes, so any questions at all, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. Yeah, so I'll let you wrap things up, Heather.
That's great. Thank you very much. I've posted the form again, but it's going to get lost in all the gratitude, so you might have to scroll.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Well, I'm really pleased. You have to really tell me when to leave, Heather, because I will
Never.
stay here. Yeah. Just
No.
go.
But yeah, thank you so much for being here. We literally couldn't have done it without you, but it's also been a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, I'm so pleased because I love working with the University of Essex. It could be my second home because I love it. I get back there and I feel like a student again, and I love the people who I serve. And you happen to be one of them today. So, and all the participants, thank you so much. Thank you, M. Paul. M. Paul.
And thank you very much to Colchester Borough Council, because without them, this could not be possible.
Thank you, Colchester Borough Council.
So if there are any unanswered Q&A questions, of course you can message us directly. If you do, we will put them on the blog so that you can all benefit from everything all together all at once.
Yes, sounds good.
There will also be a link to this video on our webpage, and I can't remember if we're uploading this one to YouTube or not, but we will contact you to let you know where it is when it is a thing.
Oops, YouTube. Oh my gosh. Now I'm scared.
And apart from that, thank you very much all for being here, and feel free to run whenever you're ready.
Okay, so thank you so much for your time. Give my regards to Chris. And I do hope if I come to the uni after lockdown, I can say hi to the two of you.